Guys, so before I talk about what the CEO said, I just gotta remind you guys that you guys must buy a NIO. So I've owned my NIO for, take a look, 899 days. The car is absolutely perfect. I have had zero quality problems with this car, and the service that NIO provides is just top notch. Top notch quality, top notch service, top notch customer experience. Just the other day when I was filming my ES6 test drive video, which I hope you guys watched, well, my car was kind of dirty, so I sent it in for a car wash. And this was, of course, using a voucher that I had because I bought NIO's insurance. And they accidentally broke my protective film outside the right rear door. And I noticed that the second day, and I just told them, hey, look, this happened, and I think it might be because of the car wash. And without any like moment of doubt, they didn't think, oh, are you sure this is because of the car wash, or any sort of like kicking the can down the road kind of thing. They just said, all right, brother, we're gonna when do you want us to pick up the car? We're gonna pick up your car, and then we're gonna get you a fresh film wrap on that door for free and send it back to you. And I've gotten my car back. I sent it out on Thursday, got it back that same afternoon. Car was washed, car was cleaned, and then got that wrap fixed up. Holy smokes, top notch service. And of course, I didn't pay anything for it. I bought NIO's insurance, and this is part of their great service for customers. And I can vouch for NIO's service, and even a lot of other brands, car owners, have grouped up to switch to NIO. I'm not gonna say which brand. I featured them in this channel before. You might be able to guess which one it is, but a lot of those customers, there's been reports of like a group of those customers all switching to NIO because of the service, how good the service is. Because with those other so and so brands, what ends up happening is you end up going to them for like a sort of a quality issue that with their cars, they end up pushing the blame and saying, hey, it's your fault. We didn't do anything. It's not our problem. You go deal with it. And right now has never been a better time to buy a NIO because there's so many swap stations and you get battery swaps for free. If you buy a NIO in China, 4 free battery swaps per month forever. Forever, my friend. You don't ever hear forever when you buy any other car. And if you buy the ES6 right now in China, you can still get up to 6 free battery swaps per month forever. And also do buy the car in Europe as well. You'll be amazed at just how good the quality of the car is. And definitely use my test drive code if you're in China, and use my invitation code if you're in Europe. So what did the CEO say? Well, there might be something that slipped under the radar for you guys. And of course, deliveries takes the headlines, but one other thing that really did slip under the radar, and I don't see anybody talking about this, is the 159 swap stations they deployed in the month of May. Now, if you noticed, that's like pretty much a 11% increase in swap stations in just 1 month. And NIO is spending a ton of money investing into its infrastructure. And what you're seeing right now as NIO's infrastructure is only a fraction of what it's going to be by the end of this year. Remember, they're targeting 1,000 swap stations deployed in this year, 2,400 swap stations by the end of this year. And what the CEO said, I'm going to roll the clip, they're aiming for 200 swap stations deployed per month. And the great news is factory number 2 for swap stations is fully operational and pumping out swap stations non-stop. These swap stations, of course, are the 3rd gen swap stations. These are a little bit pricier than the 2nd gen swap stations because it also has LiDAR and also the Orin X chips inside the swap station and more batteries. And the benefit of this, and you guys got to understand that even though this is going to be immense cash burn, and I'm going to talk about that, we're going to do a bit of calculation later on, you got to see what the end goal is. And the end goal is, of course, twofold. there is the autonomous robotaxi swapping network. Of course, even though other brands might have better autonomous driving software and might be ahead in that form, in that factor, when it comes to replenishing power, those guys that have charging, you gotta develop like a mechanized snake arm charger to like get inside the port, and that's actually a lot more difficult to do than you guys can imagine. And currently, there aren't that many of those operational as that I know of. So, for fully autonomous like driving and also charging, nobody's able to achieve that except NIO, because right now you see even the swaps are fully autonomous, and with LiDAR on the third gen swap stations, it's just going to be more accurate and less error prone. All right, so that's a reason why it's more expensive. And also the twofold, the second part is, of course, I mentioned this numerous times on my channel, the ultimate goal is global energy domination, and you don't get that by selling more cars. You get that by having more swap stations deployed to be able to control battery and have energy storage. And this would be, in essence, sort of like Tesla's Megapack, but you got more utility to it, right? So you got to think of it that way as well. But if you think about the cash burn factor, which I guess a lot of you guys are sensitive to, and also I'm quite worried about cash burn as well. I've always been worried about NIO's cash burn, and let's do some quick math on this cash burn. All right, so 200 swap stations, that would be like equivalent to 14% per month growth in swap stations, which is just insane, absolutely insane to think about. Gen 1 swap stations are a little bit more expensive. They're about 3 million RMB a pop because they used a lot of intellectual property from other companies. So obviously that was not sustainable, and they didn't build a lot of that. Gen 2 swap stations much better, use a lot of their own tech, much cheaper, so they got the cost down to around 1.5 million RMB per swap station. And Gen 3, I'm just doing some rough estimate, it's going to probably cost around 2 million RMB per swap station, because you got also the batteries inside and then the LiDAR and also the orange chip. And this, of course, does not include like other stuff like shipping cost and like assembly cost at the location and operational costs. It's not including any of that. So at about 2 million RMB a swap station, per swap station, and you multiply that by 200, their target deployment 200 per month, that comes out to about 400 million RMB in swap stations invested, or you can call it burnt or spent, whichever word you like to use, per month. And that equates to about 58 million US dollars using today's conversion rate. So that's how much money they're spending, investing into swap stations per month to build out all this crazy, insane infrastructure. Don't ever forget about the long-term goal and picture that I've talked about, those twofold: global energy domination and fully autonomous robo-taxis and fully autonomous driving, where it's just autonomous driving and also autonomous swapping combined together, which other guys cannot achieve at the moment. But if you look at it from a short-sighted point of view and not long-sighted point of view, just a short-sighted point of view, it is, in essence, burning money to spend more money, to burn more money, right? They're building out these swap stations to offer battery swaps for free. And this is, again, why I tell you now is a perfect time to buy a NIO, because free battery swap is not grandfathered in. Everybody still gets free battery swaps, even if you buy it today. You still get free battery swaps forever, right? Even though it's only like 6 per month or 4 per month, that's still a pretty good deal. And of course, if you go over that quota, you got to pay for swaps. But what NIO also does, of course, which is very nice, is during holiday season, they make sure that even if you go over the quota, it's free as well over the holiday seasons. So in terms of short term, tremendous cash burn. They're spending a lot of money. And I don't want you guys to get afraid about this, all right? And to never lose sight of the long-term goal here instead of just looking at the number up front, because I can guarantee you that the next couple quarters and even the upcoming earnings report, which will be my next video, and I'm going to tell you a lot of banger secrets in that video as well, so make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell. But the following quarters, we're going to see a lot of investment spending slash cash burn into swap stations. They're building them out like crazy, and they're also expanding storefronts like crazy. Beijing had only like 3 NIO houses for like quite a long time, and then just this year they added 2 more, so now we're up to 5, and also a ton of stores. So a ton of cash burn, a lot of cash burn, just too much cash burn to sleep well at night. But you got to think about the long-term target here, all right? And once NIO swap stations get so common out there that it becomes essentially like gas stations, right? And when it gets to that point, then NIO is pretty much the default for battery swap. And you want battery swap, you pretty much have to go with NIO, or if NIO chooses to allow competitors to use their infrastructure even for free, perhaps license out NIO's chassis and swapping tech, allowing them to build cars that also would be able to swap at NIO swap stations. That, of course, will unlock the true value of all these swap stations. So keep an eye out for NIO swap stations. They're going to be deployed very, very quickly over the next couple of months. Very good to see as a NIO owner and a potential NIO buyer. This is also very good for you to see. But of course, this does cost money. It's never free. What do you guys think about NIO's massive, insane infrastructure growth, plus 14% a month? Is that too much? Or should NIO slow down, conserve cash more? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.